Never, guys, never go burn up 10 banks because now you're fooling yourself. A lot of people haven't even had that much money in their lives.
Right.
And you're sitting up here with $200,000, $300,000 available to you. And so you're just trying stuff. You're throwing stuff. You really don't have a focus. Some people just say, I don't know. I just want to be an entrepreneur. That's dangerous.
Right.
Because what do
There's
you
no
do?
focus. Right.
You're money driven at that point.
Right.
When you're money driven, that means you're jumping from thing to thing. That e-commerce business is going to take a year or two to really get to rolling. So really all you need is that $50,000 to get started, to be honest.
Yeah. What's up, y'all? Get ready to break it down and level up. Welcome to Doing Numbers, your number one financial literacy podcast in the world. Clap it up. I'm your host, Olu.
I'm your host, Scott.
So bring your pen and pad because it's about to get real.
That's a fact.
What's going on, Scott?
And I feel like we in a very particular place for being grateful, man. We got somebody special here with us today. Excuse me.
We do.
We do.
We have a magnificent person that I definitely feel like once you guys hear and what she has to provide everybody, you could utilize this to help yourself move up and level up in life.
We're not around regular people no more, bro.
Nah. So you gotta make irregular adjustments.
That's a fact.
You know what I'm saying?
That's a fact.
So that's what we're gonna do today. So today's episode is an inspiring one as we sit down with someone who needs no introduction. Every time we've said her name, the feedback is unanimous. That's about to be a fire episode today, y'all. So back in 2019, she filed her own bankruptcy after struggling to afford a lawyer, leaving her with a credit score of just 548.
We've been there before.
But instead of staying stuck, she took control of her financial future, joined a financial literacy mentorship, and in just 5 months, removed her bankruptcy and raised her credit score all the way up to a 832. Woo!
That's doing numbers.
Strong. That's doing numbers. Real. She's documented this journey so others don't have to go through the same struggle. Now her mission is clear: to help 1,000 people secure $250,000 in funding and teach them how to leverage other people's money. OPM, y'all. Get ready to hear her powerful story and learn how you can achieve financial freedom too. Welcome to the podcast, Miss Cash Flows.
Thank you, guys. I'm so excited to be here, and that was an amazing introduction. It always shocks me when I hear it again, but that was a very, very sad time in my life.
Wow.
Because I had never struggled with money or credit. And not to put this out here, but money is very emotional. And I was always a happy, driven person. And if I ever wanted to commit suicide, that was the time. I had went into I didn't know I was depressed.
Yeah.
Found myself like in my cousin's basement because my condo at the time that I could not afford I was renting out of, it had like floor to ceiling and light coming in. And I was like, girl, she was like, you could come to my basement. I didn't know that was the first sign of depression. And I was down there for 3 days, and friends literally found me and was looking for me and drugged me out of the basement.
Wow.
Yeah, like literally.
Man, thank you for sharing that with us.
I mean, yeah, because I'm sure that touches a lot of people. Even myself. That's funny that you brought that up, and just seeing the foundation of where you come from. We have something that we talk about a lot where I highlight, my credit score, because I'm taking people on my credit score journey because I want people to understand that there is power in, being intentional with raising your credit and doing the right things, taking the right steps. So to hear how you went from a 548 and jumped all the way to an 832, I definitely need to be getting some tips from you. So that's what this episode is about. And I want all of our viewers to also make sure you tapping in, because if your credit is not in the best situation today, this episode is going to be the one that's going to take you over the hump here. So let's make sure we pay attention.
That's a fact.
So walk us into a little bit about just that journey that you were going to in that 548 stage. Like, how did you get there, first and foremost?
Oh, my God. Yeah, that was the question I kept asking myself. I was a striver all my life. Not to make the story like long and outdrawn, but just to fully understand who I am and where I come from. So I came from a background with my parents. They were drug dealers. I'm not proud of it. They pushed us and the children to go to school and strive for excellency. We couldn't hang out in the hood with the hood kids and follow their path. So their main goal was like, hey, they told me what I was majoring in. You're taking up computers. Like, that's the future. My stepfather was like, that's it. So I wanted to go to hair school and beauty school. And he was like, nope, you're taking up computers and you're getting out of here. Yeah. That's what I did. I moved to Atlanta, went to college, went to GSU, ended up coming back. Now I'm in corporate America. I found myself as a network analyst working for AT&T, got laid off. And then I started contracting. And in 2014, I was laid off consecutively 3 times within that year. And when it really hit me was that last time I was laid off, I was working for the Transit Authority in Chicago. And they literally did not allow me to come back into the building. I was fired on lunch.
Oh, wow.
Like in the middle of the day, midday, corporate transit building in the middle of downtown, sunlight shining, people going in and out. I got 2 security guards, my manager and the supervisor. I'm in the circle. They taking my badge and parking pass and corporate credit card because I thought I was a stud. I had a card. They took it all right there, right? And I'm like, I was like, wait, I thought they were about to arrest me. Because if you can imagine going to reach for a door, you know, like, let me hurry up, get back. You know, I'm almost late from lunch. And they bust out. They was like sitting there waiting on me. And my boss literally had tears in his eyes and was like, hey, we had a meeting, you know, and we had to cut the staff immediately and you didn't make the cut. That did it, right? Because I had never aspired to be an entrepreneur. I just wanted to be great in the corporate world because everyone told me I was, because I was the only one at the time making the amount of money in that type of setting. So I went home. I had so many people I was responsible for in 2. I had the building at this point, right? Because I had purchased a building in 08, 09. I tried in 08. It was in underwriting for a year. And they cleared it in 09. And I had a condo. And I had my mother who was divorced and my sister and my brother and all these people. And I'm like, this is crazy. So I meet a friend that she was like an associate, right? In my condo building. I didn't tell anyone I was fired. So now I'm on my way to the gym at 7:00 in the morning instead of work. And she was like, hey, you headed to class? I'm like, yeah, I'm going to the girl class we were going to. And we went. She was like, you want to go to lunch? And then she was like, what's going on? It was the first time I uttered a cross. I felt like Day and Craig. Like, I am not kidding you. Yeah. She was like, what? I say, girl, I got fired yesterday. And she was like, and she was like, for real? Yeah. I was like, yeah. She was like, well, hey, don't you own property? Aren't you into real estate? I was like, yeah. She was like, can you move into your rental unit? I was like, you know, where we going? She whips out her laptop and was like, maybe you should place your condo on Airbnb. I'm like, what's Airbnb? And she was talking. I was like, strangers? I was like, nah, I'm not interested in that. She whipped out that laptop, turned it around. You know, business people always got a laptop. Right. And she was like, see, these are my places and this is how much I made. And I was like, you made that last year? She was like, no, I made that last week. I was like, they pay you that much?
I think I like strangers.
She was making what I was making in a year in a week.
That's crazy.
Damn.
Yeah.
But it's possible.
Very.
So talk to me about like just your mindset in that moment, because being in a 548 or just being in a poor, you know, categorized as in a poor state, your mindset is not there.
Oh, like, yeah, I totally digress. I like talking about the good stuff. So, yeah, I'm up. I scaled my business, and then the competition came in. And so what immediately reduced my credit score, I attempted to live off my credit cards. So once all the cash was gone, no money was coming in from my units that I scaled up to. I scaled up to 18 units in that Airbnb company. Yeah. So my condo, I got $84,000 in a short period of time before like that quarter closed. I was like, I'm never going back. So I ended up finding a mentor. We scaled to 18 units over a 6-year period, right? And competition came in. Saunders. Anyone could look them up. Killed us. Could not compete because they slashed the prices by half. You just couldn't compete.
Right.
So my bookings went to a halt. And I didn't know what to do. Again, I know what it feels like for the first time in my life to experience real fear. I got all these leases in my name because I didn't listen to my mentor when he told me to build business credit and to put these units in my business name. I got everything in my personal name. I'm someone that's used to paying her bills on time. Everything is on auto pay. I'm going to share something with you guys too, and I'm not trying to, but it's coming to mind. I had everything on auto pay.
Right.
So everything was being snatched out automatically. I had situations where I was closing down and canceling credit cards and stopping the auto pay legally, and they were reactivating it under the new, to this day, I don't do auto pay. They were reactivating it under the new credit card and still continuing with auto pay, even though I called and stopped it. You understand?
I do.
But so in that moment, I'm painting a full picture.
Right.
Money coming out, nothing coming in. I'm attempting to live off the credit cards. All my credit card utilization went up, specifically on my Bank of America credit card. I had high limits, $40,000, $50,000 limits, right? So Amex, Discover, and who else did I have? I think it was like Washington Mutual or something. They all lowered all at the same time.
Man.
So now I'm like, okay.
Hit you on your chest a little bit.
Nothing. Like, I mean, I had no other recourse. To be honest, the only thing that got me through that was prayer. But in that moment, I was just scared. I just was moving like a degenerate. I had just started to like rent my places out on wherever I could rent it, take that money, and then eventually I had to self-file bankruptcy. And when I filed bankruptcy, still, I didn't have any money and I had bad credit. So in that moment, I'm thinking like my life is over. It took me a good 6 to 9 months to get over the devastation. And the message I have for anyone that's in that position, I was so depressed. One day I just woke up and I can remember the day. I used to hide from the guy to avoid eviction. Straight up. Because you're talking to someone who had been a landlord for 10 years.
Right.
So I knew how to avoid eviction. I'm living free, like literally. And it was in a state where it wasn't a good market to sell. So I couldn't sell my properties.
Right.
So I'm broke. I'm like, this is crazy. Like, I have no moves.
Right.
I get up. I look at my journal and I seen that I had not journaled, nor was I working out, nor, nothing.
Yeah.
And I seen, because I date my journals, and it was like months. And I was crying. I was like, look, I don't know what I'm going to do. I get up and I went for a run on the lakefront. Came back and I had such clarity. I was like, what's my next move? So what came to me, like, you need to get your hands on at least $10,000. That's what came to me. Get out of this apartment and just relocate. Like, you got to get out of Chicago. It's too expensive. Go back to the South. I don't know that this move and this craze is going on with entrepreneurs. I'm not even on the internet.
Right.
So you may see me with 90-something thousand followers now. I was not on the internet. I was doing real business in real life.
Right.
I didn't even trust the internet. I'm a tech person. I didn't want my face out there, anything.
Yeah.
I get a call from a cousin. No one knows I'm going through this, by the way.
Of course.
No one knows.
Keeping it close to
You
the
never
vest.
telling nobody.
No
about
one
this.
knows.
Right.
And I'm like, I get a call from him, and somehow we get into a conversation, and he was saying, oh, I'm driving Uber like that day. And I'm like, well, how much you make driving Uber? He's like, I make whatever it was. I'm sitting there calculating it. It came out to like 35 to 45 an hour. And he said that he only drives like 20 hours a week. And I said, you don't make that much.
Right.
I said, send me a screenshot. Let me see. Like, I know Uber drivers are not getting that much money. And he showed me his screen, and it was like he was making a couple thousand just for 20 hours a week. And I said, well, if I can do 60 hours a week, I can get that $10K in a month, and I'm out of here.
Right.
drove Uber. I got up to close to 9,000. Booked the ticket, came to Atlanta.
You see that, y'all? Like, you got to put yourself in uncomfortable situations. Because what it sounds like is that was very uncomfortable for you.
Oh,
Like,
my God.
You don't have the stature to be an Uber driver.
Oh, my God.
So for you to be in that position and be willing to say, hey, I have to just minimize my situation for right now to really catapult where I want to go, I think that's phenomenal.
But I'll tell you this, though. A lot of people have pride. Yes, I had pride in all of that. But here's where things change for me, and it changed so quickly. Because you got to think about my experience, my education, my entrepreneurship. When I was in fear, I was immobilized. I couldn't even move because I was too focused on the problem. And what I would tell anyone coming up under the sound of my voice, you have any money problems, because money is emotional. If you have any money problems, anything you're struggling with, sit down and ask yourself, what is my next best move? My next best move was to get out of that apartment and to relocate. And it was up from there.
And when you got those lines of credit open for yourself on the personal side, was that with intent to invest, or what were you opening up those credit lines that you had for?
Well, now I'm in Atlanta.
Okay.
I don't do the internet.
Gotcha.
But I knew I needed a new opportunity because corporate America just wasn't an option.
Gotcha.
So it's this guy at the time. So, well, the pandemic is here. It's 2020.
Right.
So people were having issues renting. So I'm like, I wonder if we can do this, rent on Turu professionally. I bet there's somebody out there doing it. Mind you, I'm not on the internet.
Right.
I'm not on the internet.
Yeah.
So someone all the way back in Chicago was like, yeah, it is. It's a guy out there with you. He got like 100 cars. He got like 100 cars in a month. I'm like, who? They send me the link. It's this guy. I don't even want to say his name, but y'all know him. He here in Atlanta. And I go on there and I look at it, and he laying out the whole strategy.
Yeah.
So I'm going on the internet now every day so I can listen to him. So every night, I'm a real estate person. I only got like 300 followers on real estate. Now, imagine my name is Mrs. Cashflow, so they gave me that name, the real estate community.
Yeah.
So my real estate people are coming up. It's this wholesaler guy who is beefing with the guy I ended up getting in his mentorship. And I was like, that's why I don't be on the internet. They like really going at it. I'm like, I'm trying to see what this guy with these cars doing.
Right.
And then one day I was like, I got time today. So I started following the negative story. He was calling the old boy a scam and all this and that. So now I'm looking at homeboy's content. He getting on the jet with his mentees, like, hey, you got bankruptcy, and it was like, ding, ding, yeah, I got bankruptcy. It was like one of them midnight commercials.
The infomercials, yeah.
He was like, you got bankruptcy? I'm like, I got bankruptcy.
Right. Well, yes, I do.
Man, I vetted him out.
Yeah.
I was like, you can get rid of your bankruptcy? And he was like, yeah, and if you want to know how to do Airbnb tour, I was like, oh, that's 2-in-1. Right. So I'm like, that's 2-in-1.
I found the link.
Exactly. Yeah. Man, and so I drank the Kool-Aid 100%. I was not one of those people who were following financial literacy people on the internet. So I didn't have the money to join his community immediately. So I started taking action on the free stuff, cleaned up my profile, all that stuff. I get into the community and just watched all the videos. It was not like a step-by-step blueprint. So you thinking you're going to go into a community and somebody's going to hold your hand and say, Akila, you go to this bank and you add this. Nah, here go the videos. You looking for funding, figure it out. So that's what I did. I watched those videos for 2 months. So I'm not thinking I'm doing anything phenomenal.
Out of the ordinary, yeah.
I just knew broke wasn't a condition I was about to accept.
No, fact.
Like, real talk.
Yeah.
I drove Uber for 2 weeks, $12 hours a day to get the mentee money.
Yep.
And I just created my own funding sequence, to be honest, from the educational videos. And I ended up posting in the group, anyone here is good at removing bankruptcies. And the mentees came to my aid. I had a few people come to my aid, but one person in particular, honestly, shout out to him. I think I heard he's incarcerated now, but some people come up and they're like rabbis.
Yeah.
Right.
He literally walked me through getting that bankruptcy off every month. He was like, what did they say? What did they say? I gave up. I literally quit the sending the letters. And he was like, no, hop on Zoom right now. Hop on Zoom. We created a letter. That was the letter that got my bankruptcy off in 3 days. No joke. That's a real story. I cried.
Wow.
I bet you did. Coming all the way from bankruptcy and then you giving up and somebody not giving up on you.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, that's big.
That's huge.
So talk to our folks about business credit. Like, what is it? What is business credit and how does it differ from personal credit?
So my thing is, a lot of people ask that question all the time, and I'm just going to be straight up. So business people think that business credit is vendor credit. So when people are like, hey, pointing up on the screen, here's some companies you can go and get funding with no credit involved. Yeah, that's a line of credit. That's a vendor net 30 account. That's not going to land you real funding from a real bank. So business credit, in my definition, is cleaning up your personal credit profile, optimizing it, guys, building it up, and going to establish your business and making it credible. Name your business professionally, your name, email, phone number, website, all of that stuff. Professional, categorize it in a professional way, and then you go to real banks and leverage your personal credit profile for $20,000 to $50,000 to $100,000 and 0% interest credit cards. That's business credit for me. Going out getting Staples, Home Depot, Uline, Granger, gas cards, you're establishing a business credit report. Yeah, and you can rate 85 plus score, but you can't take that credit report and go ask Chase for 50,000 or even for 5,000. Your personal credit is going to determine them allowing how much money they're going to extend you. Why is that the case? You have nothing else for them to check. So if you do not have business credit in the beginning, you have no other choice but to leverage your personal credit and be the personal guarantor.
Gotcha.
That's the truth.
So as far as the FICO score for a personal credit profile, what would be the highest credit score for a business profile?
So I know with a Duns and Bradstreet is 85 plus, and then like Business Experian, and I think they go up to like 480 something or 450 or something like that. And then Business Equifax is also 80 to 100, just like Duns and Brad. But if you want to rate higher, right? To be honest, I don't even spend too much time on that. Because I'll answer the question. So if you pay your bills, there's something called payment experiences on the business credit report, right? So the more payments you make, they call that an experience. So if you pay your bill before the bill is actually due and you pay more than one time within one billing period, it can be the difference from you having an 85 paydex score and a 100 paydex score. That's the answer to that. But I think your listeners need to focus on their personal credit profile.
For sure.
Right? Because it's a lot of misinformation out there, and a lot of people are just railroading you into selling you these classes and these ebooks and stuff without getting you real results. And so you feel like people are scamming you, number one. And then number two, you just give up and you feel like business credit and funding isn't for you. But business credit and funding is for you. All right. All you need to do is clean and optimize your personal credit profile, then leverage it for real money from a real bank. It's just simple. It doesn't matter what your paydex score is. It really doesn't matter. If you really want to get business credit, clean up that personal credit profile and build it up in the correct fashion, and it's up.
Thank you for that. So what does a good credit profile look like on a personal side?
Okay, so you don't owe anybody anything negatively. One thing I want to point out, any opened and closed accounts that are still reporting on your personal credit profile, it is being rated against your personal credit profile. Your score really doesn't matter.
Right.
My niece, she had one credit card, and it was a secured credit card, 6 months, and she had a 7-something credit score. Okay. You need a credit history on there, at least 3 years. Like, what is credit history? Credit history is the average age of all the accounts. Like, when did this person get into the game?
Right.
Are they old enough? Does it make sense?
Right.
Who wants to just be giving $50,000 for an 18-year-old, what would you have did?
Right.
I went to the mall.
For sure.
Facts.
I know I did.
Right.
So they want you to have age. And then there's also categories. If you pay attention, guys, to your personal credit profile, you'll see an auto category, you'll see other, you'll see installments, and you'll see mortgage. That's those people with all those credit, something in each box. They call that a grown folks profile. You got student loan debt,
Right.
you owned a home at one point, you had a car, and that strengthens your overall credit profile.
Right.
So you want a nice mix of credit. You want credit cards, but you also want something in those categories. Those are known as installment loans.
Right.
Student loan debt, if it's in good standing and you need to clean off your credit like I did, like wipe it clean, it kept history on my credit profile. It actually saved me. So that's the reason it's important to understand the algorithm and the importance of those categories. Otherwise, I wouldn't have known that, okay, even though I'm restarting my credit in 2 years, my overall credit age was higher due to the student loans.
Right.
So guys, do not wipe them off your credit report if they're not negative. Another thing you do not want, you want less than 3 inquiries. You want your credit utilization, I will tell you, below 10%. People tell you below 30%. It's not going to harm you, but it's not adding any juice to it because there's a pointing system.
Right. Thank you for that.
Okay. And with that, having the personal credit, I know a lot of people like shy away from it. They don't even want to talk about personal credit. So for someone who's like, I guess I want to run a business, you know what I mean? But I'm kind of, I have anxiety bringing up, my personal credit score. What are some tips that you can give to help someone get out of that introverted mindset of I'm going to just hoard my own credit score to myself, but not broadcast it to get help from someone that's extending it?
Oh, wow. There's a lot of people like suffering in silence because they don't have anyone they can trust.
Right.
Definitely identify someone that's professional. Like I or me or my team, like this is what we do. Right. And then I've been in this situation. So it's not funny. So
Right.
no one's going to, and then you also make sure that they sign an NDA. So anytime I'm working with anyone, they have to sign an NDA for me, and I let them know this also is for you. It's a clause in there as well, because that's not a laughing matter.
Right.
All right? Entrepreneurship is hard as it is. And what I would say to you, you need to get over yourself, because the longer you're in the problem and you're focused on the problem, you cannot think of a solution. You have to think your way out of this situation.
Right.
And if you got yourself in there, what did I do? I knew there was a gap in my learning. Yeah, I filed bankruptcy, but that was it. I needed someone to teach me what was my next step. I had to invest in it was the best investment to this day.
Right.
And I done paid for $50,000 mentorships. That $3,500 mentorship, look where it's landed me.
Right.
That was the best investment I could have ever made, just to understand financial literacy, guys, how to evade issues and keep yourself from homelessness, how to separate yourself from your business. Business credit is not debt. You literally are non-intelligent if you do not decide to build a strong business credit profile and separate yourself from your business today. Call someone, get help.
It helped.
That's a jewel.
Because
For
there's
sure.
nowhere you can go. The next step from a negative profile, I have people calling me saying that they're being sued.
Yeah.
That's next and garnished.
Right. And yeah, that's a route you definitely don't want to take
It's a
there.
wrap after that.
So are you a firm believer, or just a believer in general with consolidating debt, maybe taking out a personal loan to pay off debt, to have an installment open so it helps, you paying that off and building credit there, but also being able to manage the debt that you've already, had?
That is great in theory. It's only been a few of my mentees that were in the position where were able to take that action. The reason I say that, because by the time you need to take that action, you're probably blown out with credit utilization, late fees, and all of that. So now, what bank is going to give you money? Yes, a debt consolidation company would do that, but I highly recommend you do not do that. Debt consolidation loans are worse than bankruptcy. They keep it open 5 to 10 years. The entire time, your credit profile is deadlocked. No one is going to give someone credit that have everything that they were already extended. Think about it. You can't afford what you already have. You're on a payment plan for what you already... No, really think about that.
That's true.
You're on a plan. You need to get out of that payment plan and then come holler at us.
Right.
But guess what else I found out?
What's that?
I was running into people who had nice credit scores, and then they would say like, well, this company, they told me that they had to get credit repair to get that company, the debt consolidation. I ran across that twice. Company removed off their credit report. Because even though they were paid and closed, companies still were like, nah, you got a problematic history.
Right.
And you're not about to put us in a debt consolidation process.
Right.
So no.
Okay.
We need my money on time.
Exactly.
Yeah, I get you.
Yeah.
And what are some good products for people to have, that are hovering around that poor to fair range of credit score to help boost their credit score up?
Well, what I'll say is, first and foremost, if you cannot look to your personal credit profile, get credit repair. If you cannot afford that, I have a DIY situation where all you'll do is just pay for the credit monitoring, and then AI will generate the letters for you. I highly recommend you print those letters off and send that mail, certified mail. Take a look at it, tweak it as you need to. AI is I love AI. Okay, that is the best option for someone that is in a dire situation. Everything works, nothing doesn't. All right, pull out your personal credit profile, get some form of credit restoration going if you need it. Step number 2, I'll give you a strategy. Do not get any secured credit cards. Because what does people do? They go get the $250 secured credit card because that's all they can afford. And they hold on to that money forever, right? Look into the pledge loan, right? The pledge loan can help you create a positive line and boost your credit rating, and it can also allow you to build a positive relationship with Navy Federal. In doing so, that can land you a higher credit card limit from them. You want to start out with a high credit card limit so that when you go other places, they match that. If I go get a $250 secured credit card, and then I try to go to Bank of America, they too are like, well, Chase gave you $250, we're giving you $250. But if I use another strategy and go build relationships with credit unions, because they like to honor the relationship over the credit report, guys. That's extremely important. This is how you can backdoor your way into higher credit card limits to start.
Right.
That's a gem.
That's great.
Very
I want to go back to your story a little bit. Where does the name Miss Cashflow come from?
So when I was in real estate and I was like the only young Black girl, it was like maybe a few of us, but it was thousands of us, like in Chicago alone, but it was a national real estate community, still a part of it to this day. And so again, I wasn't on social media. So what I'm doing now, the white boys in my community were doing it.
Right.
And so they couldn't figure out Airbnb. But I had transitioned from a landlord to Airbnb. So it was nothing to me. You know, like, okay, this is just nightly rent. I'm loving it. I'm getting paid every day. So it was amazing. So one day we were at a real estate conference and let me tell you, they used to beg me and offer to pay me to come speak on their platforms. I'm saying this because this is how serious I was about not sharing my story on the internet. I didn't want my face. I didn't trust the internet. I didn't go do podcasts. They were trying to get me to do what I'm doing with you right now 10 years ago.
Wow.
Could you imagine? I refused.
Well, no, I can't because you won't here with us today. So
crazy, crazy. Right. They were like, "Come on, like we'll pay you, you know, whatever." So we were at a real estate conference, and they're like, it was something going on. It was 5 of us in a circle. It was like, "You didn't see that on Instagram?" I'm like, "Instagram? What's that?" He was like, "Girl, you not on Instagram?" And I'm like, "Nah." He's like, "Give me your phone." One guy he called. He used to do real estate in New York. Big guy. He's still killing it to this day.
Right.
And so he got a huge platform too now. And he grabbed my phone. He's like, "Mrs. Cashflow, let me see if that's, because they used to call me Mrs. Cashflows." And he's like, "Yep, it's available." Boop, gave me the handle name, and they started all following me. And that's how I ended up with 300 real estate friends, because I never really went back.
Right.
But that's crazy. And then, because people think Mrs. Cashflows is a gimmick.
Right.
Nah, this was earned.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's hard.
This wasn't like, let me come up with a name and a show. Like, you know, this ain't, it's not a gimmick.
Yeah. It's in you.
Exactly.
I know that's
Let's
right.
get it.
That's right. So we talking personal credit score. I got a scenario for you, and help me out. Walk me through it. Walk with me on this. So my personal credit's right, and I'm getting ready to start up a new business. What kind of funding options are out there for me, knowing that I have great personal credit, I've established a great relationship with the bank, but now I need an extra bit of funding to really steer my startup in the right direction?
Okay, let's make this a real consultation. So what is your company? What industry are you in?
So let's say I am in the e-commerce industry.
Okay, how much funding are you looking for, and how soon do you need it?
I'm looking for about 50,000.
50,000?
Yep.
How soon do you need it?
I need it within a month.
Okay, what's your credit score?
Right now I'm at a 700 flat.
So we're gonna assume that all your data points is in the correct order, and you just need 50,000. That is so easy. Like, you could go get 50,000. No, how old is your business?
My business, we've been in business for about 1.5 years now.
Okay, awesome. All right. Well, if you were 2 years or more, I will, probably advise you to do like a business line of credit, but that's okay. So let's go ahead and build a relationship with a bank that I know you can get business lines of credit with. So I'll have you go to Chase. I'll have you go to PNC and Truist, right? Truist is giving away $70,000 with businesses 2 years and older all day long. $20,000 0% interest credit card, $50,000 business line of credit. So I'll definitely have you go there. You're not ready for the business line of credit, but let's build a positive relationship and get us some 0% interest credit cards. I'll probably have you go to Truist, PNC, Bank of America. Love giving out high credit cards too, depending on what state you're in. Key Bank. All you need to do, guys, is just research that. You know what I mean? Who has the 0% interest credit cards? Most major banks, when I say major, I want to say national banks and not community banks, national banks and regional banks. So Truist and Key Bank, those are like regional banks. Those are where they're really friendly. PNC is the bomb as well. And 50,000 would be easy. You can probably go to 2 places and get 50,000 0% interest credit card. But I'll take it a little further. So in doing so, guys, just because you can go get all those 0% interest credit cards, see, people don't tell the truth.
Talk about it.
What people are doing, they're encouraging their mentees, and I always stop people. They're encouraging them to just go out and burn up all these banks and go run it. For what?
Right.
What you doing? He just need 50,000.
Right.
I'll give you a funding sequence and let you know what banks have what and what products. Like I just told you, you get 70,000, but I only need 50 right now. So I would probably advise you to go to 2 banks, get the 0% interest credit card. You're with Truist. Once your business hit the 2-year mark, you're already 6 months in with building a positive relationship with them. They see that cash flow coming in from e-commerce. You looking good. You could go get a $50,000 no doc loan, no problem at that point, right? Never, guys, never go burn up 10 banks, because now you're fooling yourself. A lot of people haven't even had that much money in their lives.
Right.
And you're sitting up here with $200,000, $300,000 available to you. And so you're just trying stuff. You're throwing stuff. You really don't have a focus. At least he has an e-commerce business. Some people just say, I don't know, I just want to be an entrepreneur. That's dangerous.
Right.
Because what
there's
do you
no
do?
focus, right?
You're money driven at that point.
Right.
When you're money driven, that means you're jumping from thing to thing. That e-commerce business is going to take a year or two to really get to rolling. So really all you need is that $50,000 to get started, to be honest.
Yeah. Okay.
That's
Yeah.
hard.
That's nice.
Make sure y'all taking these notes. We got Mrs. Cashflow on today.
She just did some
dropping
numbers.
jewels.
Yeah.
Trying to help y'all out. Because when that 0% interest is gone and you at to 29% and you tried all these businesses that fail, you were with Turo, e-commerce, then listen to the mentor, he a scammer, you didn't do the work, you want to complain. No, it doesn't work like that. I don't care what business you get into, you have to put in the work. You have to get good at it. Having funding and money is not going to change that.
Do you help people who don't have the age of the business? Like if I have an LLC and I just started the LLC, I just got the paperwork back. Do you help people scale up to where you can get the loans, the no-doc loans and the credit limits that you're talking about?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
And so what I do, I'll probably come up with a situation with those people, a few. I have young people that come in. It was like, well, I want to be an entrepreneur. Young people are smart. I have 2 young ladies right now in my mentorship group. They're young, and we're doing that for them. I was able to get them a personal loan, built their personal credit profile up to a place and built some relationships with some credit unions. And I got her sister a $50,000 personal loan and her a $50,000 personal loan. So installment loans are helpful. You don't want to use your personal credit cards to do business.
Right.
Now they have access to $100,000 and they have a Spotify store and they're doing great.
That's amazing.
That is. And one thing that I do want to ask is what's required for you to get multiple rounds of funding? Because I don't just want the $50,000 one time. I want to come back to you again, Keely, and get it again. So
Building that positive relationship with that bank, paying them their money. And business credit cards double a lot faster than personal, like automatically. So if you're using it, paying it down, you can even call some banks and ask them to extend your 0% interest funding. But that's only if they show a record of good. They'll come solicit you sometimes.
Right.
Like say, for instance, that's a play. All right? This is why I'm telling you, don't max it all out. Say, my guy, he like, I'm now you coming back for a second time, right? Okay. All right, we hit the 0% interest credit cards. Now, okay, I think I want to go and get that $50,000, line of credit from Truist. Okay, you good for that. You get approved. You can now go to another bank and get a 0% interest credit card and transfer the debt from those two. See what I mean? You want
Nasty
contingency plans.
Yeah.
This is why you pay for a blueprint and stop trying to listen to YouTube and you running around with like a chicken with your head cut off, thinking business credit is Staples and Home Depot. No.
Exactly. Okay, man, that's a nugget.
She dropping them.
Yeah,
bro.
that was some game.
Yeah,
I'm here
for
to
sure.
help.
So I do want to let everybody know. I want them to know where they can find you, how they can get in touch with you. And again, just elaborate a little bit more on just the services you provide for our audience here.
Okay, so I help entrepreneurs get 90K in 90 days, build your LLC from scratch to funding status, making sure you're fundable and bankable. You can find me on all platforms, Mrs. Cashflows, even the new platform, Fanbase, I'm everywhere. Mrs. Cashflows. You can hit me up. I have a DIY program out there where you can fix your own credit. I have a school community for a low ticket. You can be mentored as well. So just hit me up. Get a lot of freebies. I am here to help 100%. But more importantly, since the questions that you guys were asking are real, people are confused. So what me and my team do, we give out 15-minute consultation calls for free. Go to my IG page, DM me the word talk, book your free call, and we're here to help.
Beautiful.
Thank you for coming today.
Any
I
last
really appreciate you.
wrap up you got for us, Scott?
Absolutely, man. First off, thank you for coming. Thank you for extending your help to our listeners. I want everybody under the sound of my voice to like, comment, subscribe, and put your questions that you have for Miss Cashflow in her DMs as well as in our comments so we can bridge that gap for you guys to talk to Mrs. Cashflow.
Because I know I will. So I hope y'all are too.
I'm commenting talk today.
Thank you for having me, guys.
No,
Thanks
for
for
sure.
coming.
It's been a pleasure. So without further ado, guys, we appreciate y'all for joining and doing numbers. Make sure you tap in every Monday, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, where you see Miss Cash Flows dropping these nuggets.
That's right.
And make sure y'all follow, like, share, and subscribe.
Let's get
Oh,
it.
you can jump today. We got Chicago in the
Peace.
building.
Chi-Town. Okay.